What's up, everyone? Today I'm diving deep into a Capitol Hill clash that's shaking up the political world. Congressman McGovern's fiery takedown of the GOP after they voted to block the release of the Epstein files. If you crave real talk and sharp breakdowns, you're in the right place. Alright, so let's set the stage. McGovern walks into Congress after Republicans have just taken 8 weeks off. 8 weeks. You'd think after all that time away, they'd come back with solutions for skyrocketing prices, rent, gas, or childcare, right? Nope. McGovern blasts them for recycling the same old bills, legislation they've already passed but never bothered to send to the Senate. It's like watching a rerun that nobody asked for. He straight up calls it embarrassing. And here's the zinger. He jokes that some members clearly have no idea how lawmaking even works, suggesting they need to watch Schoolhouse Rock to learn how a bill actually becomes law. With a government shutdown looming, Republicans haven't brought a single appropriations bill forward, 8 weeks off, and nothing to show for it. Brutal. But McGovern doesn't stop there. He slams the GOP for trying to micromanage Washington, D.C.'s local affairs. His advice? If Republicans want to meddle in D.C., they should quit Congress and run for the D.C. City Council instead. He reminds everyone, D.C. residents pay taxes, they serve in the military, they even die for this country, but still don't get full representation in Congress. Meanwhile, Republicans are obsessed with local D.C. issues, while Americans everywhere struggle to afford groceries or pay rent. McGovern even goes bipartisan for a second. He calls out Biden for not focusing enough on affordability early on, but he saves his harshest words for Trump. Remember those tariffs Trump promised would lower prices? McGovern says, not only did they fail, but they made everything more expensive. And about Trump's claim that Thanksgiving dinner is cheaper at Walmart, McGovern points out it only looks cheaper because Walmart shrank the meal. He jokes, if Trump or his billionaire pals actually shopped for groceries, they'd know prices aren't dropping. Now, here's where things get really heated. The Epstein files. McGovern accuses Republicans of months of stonewalling, coming up with every excuse in the book to block the files' release. Only after Trump finally relented did the GOP suddenly become eager to move forward. McGovern's not buying it. He says he'll believe it when he sees 3 things: a House vote, a Senate vote, and the president's signature. Until then, he accuses them of covering up for a pedophile and says the survivors deserve truth. No more delays, no more excuses. This was McGovern at his sharpest, calling out legislative games, D.C. interference, rising costs, and the Epstein cover-up. If you found this breakdown helpful, smash that subscribe button, drop a like, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, keep questioning, keep watching.
With that, I now yield to Ranking Member McGovern for any comments that he wishes to make.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair, and I appreciate that the committee has gotten back to legislative business this week. But after taking a look at this week's bills, I'm not positive how good that is for the country. 8 weeks of paid vacation, and this is what Republicans came up with. Nothing at all to lower prices or address people's everyday concerns. No, none of that. Instead, we will get reruns of bills that you've already passed. Give me a break. The Unlocking Our Domestic LNG Potential Act was supposedly so important that Republicans passed it last Congress multiple times, and then didn't even bother sending the bill to the Senate. I mean, you guys pretend like what you're doing is a big deal, like it's going to make a difference for people the second it's passed, and you never even send it to the Senate. Has anyone on the other side ever watched Schoolhouse Rock? I mean, I think you ought to, because you guys might learn a thing or two. By the way, for the record, not a single appropriations bill is being considered this week. Not one. We've had 8 weeks out, 8 full weeks out, and where are all the appropriation bills that we've been promised? We're barreling towards another shutdown deadline. Why aren't Republicans bringing up one appropriation bill after another to get this done so you don't have to do another continuing resolution? And I'm noticing on the agenda here today a number of bills dealing with the District of Columbia. Let me give my colleagues on the Republican side some advice. If you really want to micromanage D.C.'s affairs, then resign from Congress and run for city council here in D.C. Then you could have more of a say in what's going on here in the District of Columbia. I mean, but to micromanage every bit of D.C.'s affairs is offensive. I mean, the President of the United States, wants to have control over what the name of the football team is going to be. I mean, this is ridiculous. The people of D.C. pay taxes, just like the people in our districts. People here have served in our military. People here have sacrificed their lives fighting for this country's freedoms, and yet they don't even have a full vote here in the United States Congress. So, I mean, it's just so offensive. And meanwhile, as we're talking about all this stuff, everything is getting more expensive. Groceries, rent, gas, childcare, energy costs, health care. And now, after 11 months of Republican leadership, we finally get their plan to address the economic uncertainty that so many families feel. And what is their plan? What's the big reveal? It's to tell people that there is no affordability crisis. Inflation isn't real. Costs aren't up. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Can I just offer some advice? Let me critique the last administration. I don't think President Biden spent nearly enough time talking about and addressing the affordability crisis. Many of my colleagues in Congress raised the alarm to no avail. And you know what? You guys are making the same mistake. Donald Trump promised to bring prices down, to make life more affordable. He didn't say he would tweak inflation or nibble around the edges. He said he would work to bring costs way down. Well, I go grocery shopping in Worcester, and I look at my receipts. Prices aren't going down. They're up, and going up even more. Trump is bragging about that Walmart's Thanksgiving dinner package got cheaper, $15 cheaper. And then I look at the fine print. It's because they removed items. They shrank the dinner package, and surprise, the price goes down. Maybe if Trump or anyone in his billionaire-first inner circle actually went grocery shopping like the rest of us, they'd know that. But they don't. They don't live how the rest of America lives. And it's not just Trump's failure to bring costs down, it's that he's making it worse. He said his tariffs would not raise prices, and they did. He said they wouldn't be paid by Americans. They are. And now every single one of us is paying more for everything due to his stupid trade war. So please excuse the American people if we don't applaud him for swooping in, reversing some of the stupid tariffs, and trying to take credit for fixing a problem that he himself created. And finally, on the Epstein files, after months of Republicans blocking transparency, stonewalling in this committee, inventing excuses and trying to block these files from ever coming out, a majority of members of this body have now signed a discharge petition to force a vote. And out of nowhere, miraculously, your leadership is now eager to bring the bill to the floor. We welcome your sudden change of heart. But we know what this is about. Trump gave you all permission. Last week, he was calling people into the Situation Room to try to kill the release of the files. But he knows he failed, and so now, finally, we get a last-minute attempt to try to save face. Guess what? I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when the Senate votes on the release of the files. I'll believe it when he signs the bill into law. And frankly, I'm concerned that even if he does, he's going to try to invent a new excuse to bury, cover up, and block these files from coming out. For months and months, this Republican majority voted time after time after time to cover up for a pedophile. I think it's disgusting. And for the sake of the survivors who deserve accountability and for the public that deserves transparency, these files must come out. I yield back my time.